The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. When the Pharisees and some of the scribes who had come from Jerusalem gathered around Jesus, they noticed that some of his disciples were eating with defiled hands, that is, without washing them. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they thoroughly wash their hands, thus observing the tradition of the elders. And they do not eat anything from the market unless they wash it. And there are also many other traditions that they observe: the washing of cups, pots, and bronze kettles. So the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, "Why do your disciples not live according to the tradition of the elders, but eat with defiled hands?" And Jesus said to them, "Isaiah prophesied rightly about you hypocrites, as it is written, 'This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching human precepts as doctrines. You abandon the commandment of God and hold to human tradition.'" Then Jesus called the crowd again and said to them, "Listen to me, all of you, and understand. There is nothing outside a person that by going in can defile them. But the things that come out of a person are what defile them. For it is from within, from the human heart, that evil intentions come: fornication, theft, murder, adultery, avarice, wickedness, deceit, licentiousness, envy, slander, pride, folly. All these evil things come from within, and they defile a person." The Gospel of the Lord. Today's first reading is from the book of Deuteronomy, the last of the 5 books of Moses. It presents Moses as a very old man, close to death, who has led the Israelites out of their slavery in Egypt, led them for the 40 years of wandering through the desert that helped to shape and form them, letting those who were born in slavery die away, and their children and grandchildren born in freedom become a nation before the Lord. And now the time has come for Moses also to die and be buried in the desert, but for the Israelites to enter into the promised land under the leadership of Joshua, the chosen successor to Moses. And Moses, as he reminds the people of the law that God has given them, he tells them that they are to be a great nation. They're a band of nomads, but he sees them now as a great nation. And if they follow the law of the Lord, they will be recognized by the nations around them as a great nation. Surely this great nation is a wise and discerning people. For what other great nation has a God so near to it as the Lord our God is to us whenever we call upon him? And what other great nation has statutes and ordinances as just as this entire law that I am setting before you today? Our second reading, St. James, one of the apostles who is not so worried about theoretical things, but very practical things, and always concerned about how people are dealing with other people. And at the end of this short reading, he gives a beautiful expression about true religion. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to care for orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself unstained by the world. And finally, in our gospel, Jesus is confronted by some of the Pharisees and the scribes who have noticed that not all of his disciples are washing their hands before they eat. And then Mark, who is living now in Rome, which is the capital of the empire, people from all nations of the Roman Empire living there, they found converts, or are trying to find converts to Christianity, coming from all the nations. And many of them know very little about Judaism. And so he puts in an explanation so that this concern of the Pharisees and scribes will make at least some sense to the new Christians of Rome and to the potential Christians of Rome. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they thoroughly wash their hands, thus observing the tradition of the elders. They do not eat anything from the market unless they wash it. And there are many other traditions that they observe: the washing of cups, pots, and bronze kettles. And he hopes that with that, at least, the question being raised by the scribes and Pharisees will make a little bit more sense to them. And what does Jesus do with it? He takes it as an opportunity to speak out against hypocrisy. He says, quoting Isaiah, "Don't just honor me with your lips while your hearts are far from me. And don't just teach human precepts as doctrines." It's not what's on the pots or on the food bought in the market or what's in the air around your hands that can defile you. It's the evil intentions that can come from the human heart. These are the things that can defile one: fornication, theft, murder, adultery, avarice, wickedness, deceit, licentiousness, envy, slander, pride, and folly.